You know, I really want to consider myself a patient man. I want to. And then I see something like this. Y'all know what this is. You see the title of the video, you know what this is. And I'm going to try to monetize this video. If it doesn't get monetized by YouTube's holy vendetta against professional wrestling, I don't really care. They can go ahead and demonetize this video if they want to. Just don't touch my comic book reviews. Please. This show was so bad. I honestly felt I had to come on here and talk about this. This was bad. I've seen other reviewers. I've seen What Culture and Brian Zane's Wrestling with Regret and the Solid Monster. I've seen their reviews on this show, and oh my God, they are way more lenient toward this company to the WWE than I'm gonna be. Now, as I'm recording this video right now, I have yet to see any reviews on this show from one of my personal favorite channels on YouTube, OTRS Central, because I love how honest the Schleg Daddy is, and I know he's going to tear this pay-per-view a new asshole. Okay. Now, before I get started, I need to go ahead and say something. Out of all the pay-per-views the WWE has ever done that have been called Extreme Rules, I'm not counting ECW One Night Stands or just the pay-per-views called One Night Stand / Extreme Rules. I'm talking about only the shows they've done that were strictly called Extreme Rules. Out of all the Extreme Rules pay-per-views they've done over the years, this, for me, in my opinion, not saying it's a fact, some of you may say it is a fact, but in my opinion, this was the worst Extreme Rules pay-per-view they have ever done. This was probably one of the one of the least extreme shows that this company has ever done. Besides the main event, what was really extreme about this? Don't even get me started on the cage. We'll get to the cage match when we get to it, but oh my God, this show was bad. This was so bad, there were times it barely had my attention at all. I'm not even going to talk about the pre-show match because, one, I didn't watch it, and two, I don't care. The first official match on the card was Dean Ambrose versus The Miz for my favorite championship in wrestling, the Intercontinental Championship. It may not be my favorite belt design, but it's my favorite title, the Intercontinental title, the workhorse title, the Stepping Stone Championship, the title that gave future legends their big break. I love that title. I have always loved that title. And oh my God, this match was bad. I don't care what people say. Tell the people say this was a very competitive match. I liked it. Why did it need to be competitive? You had a stipulation where if Dean Ambrose got disqualified, the title would change hands and The Miz would win the title. That's usually, first off, that's usually a stipulation that you use towards a heel champion, not a babyface champion. That's right there alone is ass backwards booking. And if I'm The Miz, clearly I'm not, but if I was in The Miz's position, I would OTRS Central said it in his predictions. He hasn't reviewed this as of yet, but he said this in his predictions, and I agreed with him. If I'm The Miz, I'm slipping someone a few bucks backstage and say, hey, come and interfere in this match and say you're interfering on Dean Ambrose's behalf. He'll get disqualified, and I win the title. I don't have to do a damn thing. Or you could have had Maurice pretend to turn on The Miz, slap him, and instantly stop the match, and Miz wins the title. Now, they did go that route. They did try to finish the match with that, which, honestly, it would have fit into Miz's slimeball character, and I would have been fine with that. But it was just more and more over melodramatic spots, a ref bump, and everything like that. First of all, since when does the referee threaten anybody to disqualify them? Here you go, honey. Girlfriend needed her phone. But since when does a referee threaten to disqualify a wrestler if they break the rules? You know, watching wrestling growing up, whenever you screw up and you break the rules and the referee catches wind of it and sees it, boom, you're disqualified. He rings the bell. No ifs, ands, or buts, no hesitation. Even if later on he has to reverse the... Even later on, you can always reverse the call and say, oops, I messed up. Let's restart the match. But no, there's like, you know, the Maurice run-in and the Ambrose ref bump and everything. And the referees, for some reason, the referee has to walk all the way around the ring before he threatens to ring the bell. And then Miz swoops in with the skull-crushing finale and gets the pin. I'm like... You know, you introduced this stipulation, you would think they would use it, but it was meant to be there just as a tease to help prolong the drama of the match. Whatever. It makes Miz look like an idiot because he's such a Hollywood A-lister. You would think he has money, he has influence. It's like, hell, you could have, you know, slipped anybody. Could have slipped anybody. It could have been the Drifters or one of the tag teams, or hell, you could have slipped some money to the Revival. Have use for the Revival. Have the Revival come out, or at least have Scott Dawson come out there and just whoop the shit out of the Miz. It's like, hey, I'll give you some money if you just come out there and just ambush me, and the referee will think it's it's on Dean Ambrose's behalf, and he'll get disqualified. It's like, if you're going to book and advertise a stipulation, fucking use it. That's all I gotta say. Sasha Banks and Rich Swann against Noam Dar and Alicia Fox. I can sum this match up in 4 words. Who the hell cares? Next. The Raw Women's Championship. Hang on. Before I talk about that, let me put this up. Boom. Now I can talk about this. Get a look at that photo right there. Yeah, I'll admit, I made that photo. I made that. I hate to use the big B word. Burial. I hate to use that word because the smart marks love to overuse that word when their favorite indie darling doesn't win a fucking match. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to use it here describing what the WWE did to Bayley here. Okay, for weeks they have been building up that Alexa Bliss is ruthless, she's full of don't give a shit, and just will beat the hell out of Bayley every opportunity she gets. And then the previous Monday on Raw before this show, they did a horrendous This Is Your Life segment that was meant to be a character assassination toward Bayley. And in fact, the WWE accidentally put some character assassination on their own company. You know, the ex-boyfriend of Bayley's saying, oh, we used to hang out together, but she just want to watch Monday Night Raw all day. What a tweet. Is like, wow, you just semi-buried your own product. Whatever. The segment was stupid. It was horrendous. Bayley tried to do a run-in. She should have ran in way sooner than she did, in my opinion, and ends up getting the shit beat out of her. And then we get to this, and she cuts a promo right before the match. And I swear to God, she's like, I don't want to hurt anyone. People want to see me get extreme. I've been watching Tommy Dreamer. I've been watching Sandman. I've been watching, you know, all this ECW references and stuff like that. And she's like, I saw Wonder Woman. I'm empowered. I'm inspired. And la 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 la. I'm a little girl, and I just have dreams and all that shit. And it's just you don't want to hurt anyone. What the fuck are you doing in the wrestling business? This is also very tragic because I used to be a huge Bayley fan. And when she was on NXT, yeah, I know there's a difference. NXT and the main roster, there's a big difference. I get it. But when she was a part of NXT, she was on the top of the women's division. She was on the rise. She was a member of the Four Horsewomen and everything like that. But there were also, big top stars like, Hideo Itami, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, anything like that. And if back in that time period during, NXT, when Bayley was the women's champion, when she was chasing the title leading up to her phenomenal match with Sasha Banks at the first NXT TakeOver Brooklyn show, after she became women's champion and she continued to win, and she continued to have good matches and decent storytelling, people would ask me, who do you think is the top star in NXT? And I always said it was Bayley. I thought Bayley was the much better developed star than Finn Balor. I thought in my opinion, she was clearly more popular than Sami Zayn. Yes, I said that. And the fact that Kevin Owens and Finn Balor had to follow that match between her and Sasha Banks, they could not top it. And they knew they couldn't top it. They had the match of the year that year. Bayley had become the top star of the NXT brand. And then when you finally bring her to the main roster, you have her win the Raw Women's title. She has had a successful title defense at WrestleMania, has yet to actually win the title from someone at WrestleMania. After seeing what happened here, I doubt that's going to happen. Not only did Bayley not get Extreme, this match made Bayley look like a complete freaking nincompoop. The opening spot, I believe, Alexa was like, going, hey, go get the stick, go get the stick, go get the stick, little Bayley, go get the stick, go get the stick. And what does Bayley do? Okay, she tries to go get the stick, and she gets her ass whooped. And they're tussling around the kendo stick and everything. If the kendo stick falls, they get to the stick. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they say that whoever got the kendo stick first was the only one that was legally allowed to use it? So if Alexa didn't get it down, why was she legally allowed to use it? That makes no sense. And on top of it all off, Bayley gets the stick. She's got Alexa Bliss cornered. And she looks like she's ready to swing it. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. And she just can't do it. Now, I know a lot of you smarks will probably defend that, saying, oh, it's part of her character and everything like that. Even some of the most delightfully wonderful babyface characters still showed an extreme side from time to time. The fact that Bayley just couldn't do it, it made her look pathetic, it made her look weak, and it made her look moronic that she just left herself open to another attack by Alexa Bliss. And then Bliss canes the hell out of her, picks her up, DDTs her, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'll say it. Bayley got buried. When you see what they did with her on Monday Night Raw before the show, and then you see what they did with her on the actual show, you cannot convince me that wasn't a burial. It really was. And you see the picture right here, how the mighty have fallen. That's how I honestly feel about Bayley right now. And to top it all off, Bayley's performance at Extreme Rules was so horrendous, she actually got booed. Have we come to this already? Have things gotten so bad for this company that they just had to sabotage this character, and now you already have fans turning on her? Good job, WWE. Good fucking job. You had a chance. I know I'm harping on this way too long. I know I am. Just let me get this off my chest. You had a chance to take this woman right here and build her up to be one of the next great female stars of wrestling. You could have had a chance to build her up to superstardom level along the names of girls like Trish, girls like Lita, girls like Mickie James, big name stars. You had a chance. And you blew it. And what's even worse, you blew it on purpose. It's a shame how the mighty have fallen. And it really hurts me to say this stuff, considering I am a Bayley fan. But her character has gotten stale. Her character has gotten weaker over time. And there have become, she used to be one of my favorite stars on the NXT brand. Now there are times I could care less what she's doing. That's how bad the booking of this company is. One of my favorite stars. Now I don't care. There are times I don't care. I want to care about Bayley. I really do. But it seems like the WWE doesn't want me to. Because her last name ain't fucking Flair. Let's get that off here. Alright. Moving on. What's the next match? The steel cage match between the Hardys and Sheamus and Cesaro. Fine. A steel cage match. I guess you could say that is an extreme style of match. Fine. Okay. Problem. Where the hell do I begin with how many logic holes this match had? Stipulation is that both members of the team need to escape the cage to win. That's fine. That is fine. That is a traditional WWE steel cage match stipulation. No pins, no submits. You climb out or you escape through the door. Fine. That's fine. So, of course, when Jeff Hardy gets out, it's like, okay, Matt just needs to get out. Here's the first problem. Matt hits a side effect on both Sheamus, and then he hits a side effect on Cesaro. Then he starts climbing the cage. Why? Just walk out the door. I noticed he was like, oh, well, that's usually what the heels do. So what? There's the door. Just walk out. Sheamus and Cesaro are both laying on the ground. Just walk out the door. No, he's got to climb. Because he's a Hardy, he's got to climb shit. And then Sheamus and Cesaro, they regain composure and they start double teaming Matt. And they hit a pretty bitchin' double Razor's Edge. That was, I will admit, that was a good spot. But then, of course, Jeff climbs the cage instead of just walking in the door. He can just walk in the door and run in and say, "Man, no, he's got to be extreme. He's got to channel his inner 1999 and climb the top of the cage and do that whisper in the wind dive." And then the commentator, somebody, I don't remember who it was, said, "Well, Jeff's now officially back in the match." What? When the hell did they make that rule? I don't remember them ever, establishing that in a tag team steel cage match. He climbed back in the cage. Oh, no. I guess his escape was now nullified. What? And then it's like Matt gets out of the cage first, but then he's pulling Jeff out. Jeff already escaped. If you're going by the logic of the rules that you established before the match started, the Hardys should have won. But then you had Sheamus and Cesaro beat them by just a fraction of a second, and they win the tag team titles. Whatever. It would have been a much better match if the logic was better handled. There were times where both the Hardys looked incredibly dumb in this match since they were the ones that asked for this fucking match. They demanded this stipulation. So them losing, it's their own goddamn fault. Moving on. The Cruiserweight Championship match. Neville and Austin Aries. It was a fine match. It's a match that a Cruiserweight match I think should be. I think it could have been a little bit better. I'm not hating on Austin Aries tapping out like a lot of other fans are. I'm not hating on that because Aries is a big enough star and you want to establish Neville as a truly dominant heel so that when somebody does come in, Kalisto, so that when somebody does come in and eventually beats Neville for the title, it'll be a big deal. And I think if I'm going to take the belt off of Neville, I would want to do it at one of the big 4 pay-per-views. I would probably want to wait at least until SummerSlam. If you're going to take the belt off of Neville this year, probably do it at a SummerSlam. And if you want to wait even longer, go for Survivor Series. If you're going to have Neville drop the belt, it would be a much bigger deal and it would mean so much more, especially for that title and that division of the cruiserweights, if you were to have him lose the belt to anyone at one of the big four. It would be better if you wait on it and let him hold the belt until then. If you want to give it to Aries, fine. If you want to give it to Kalisto or TJP or Mega Man or what the fuck he is, or if you want to give it to Rich Swann, I mean, you know, do something with it, but make it believable, build it up, give it a good story, and make it a match that will, you know, say, yeah, that's a cruiserweight match. And I'd be down with it. Hell, you can bring somebody up from NXT and put them in the cruiserweight division, have them challenge Neville for the cruiserweight belt. But as far as the match goes, with that red arrow spot on the back, on Aries' back, I don't know why wrestlers now got to wear that stupid fucking tape. It just looks so weird. But him tapping out to the Rings of Saturn, it's like, yeah, Aries tap, but it's like Neville had to put that hold on a few times for him to finally tap. So I mean, he got the win by a submission, but he had to work for it. So I'll let it slide for that. The main event: Reigns, Rollins, Wyatt, Joe, and Balor. Wow. This match saved this pay-per-view from being TNA Victory Road 2009 bad. This was a good match. And I thank God this had the Extreme Rules stipulation. I loved how the match started. The match started, the bell rings, and Joe and Rollins go at it, and Bray and Finn Balor go at it, and Reigns is just standing there in the ring watching them fight, and they all go to the outside, and Reigns is still standing in the ring. He's just like, I'm just standing here, and I'll just stand in here and flex. You know, he's just like, I'm Roman Reigns. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. But there was some story in here. There was some, you know, capitalizing on some rivalries in here, everything like that. I love storytelling in wrestling. It is one of the key essentials of a professional wrestling match is storytelling. It's not about the in-ring work for me. You know, many of you know I'm a member of, I go for Team Headlock all the way. But the fact is, I went into this match thinking that it was going to be Finn Balor winning. I didn't want Finn Balor to win. Now, before you start hating on me, let me explain. I didn't want Finn Balor to win because I don't think he's the right opponent for Brock Lesnar. If anything, I would much rather see Finn Balor chase The Miz for the Intercontinental title. I think Finn Balor could do wonders for that title as a babyface Intercontinental Champion, because God knows we need a babyface IC champion that'll make that belt seem like something. Because let's be honest, Dean Ambrose did absolutely fucking nothing for that title. I think if you give us a program between The Miz and Finn Balor for that IC title, that would be something good. I would really be bought into that if they do it right. Anybody who thought Bray Wyatt had any chance of winning? Bray Wyatt against Brock Lesnar. Bullshit. Bray Wyatt, one of the most transitional WWE champions, is going to go against the guy who beat Goldberg. Get the fuck out of here, Bray Wyatt. Fuck that. Bray Wyatt was so important, they gave him the title just so he could give it to Orton. And then, after he dropped it to Orton, all of a sudden he stopped caring about being WWE champion and just wanted to kick Randy Orton's ass. Whatever. Oh, God. Bray Wyatt against Brock Lesnar. What the fuck ever. Next. Seth Rollins? Nah. Already been there. Didn't work for me. I don't think Rollins would be a good enough opponent for Lesnar either. But where they went with it, I'm glad they went here. They went with Samoa Joe. Yes. This works on so many levels because people are... excuse me. Before this match was even over, before this match even happened, people were talking about what would happen if Samoa Joe fought Brock Lesnar. And now we're finally going to get that. This feels like a big deal. This feels like a money-making attraction match. You know, two legit badasses squaring off for a championship on pay-per-view. This is something wrestling fans should pay for. This is something that could have potential to be spectacular. Both these men have great looks. They can, well, one of them can talk. The other one just has somebody talking for him. But they both have talent. They're both good athletes. This works on so many levels because it looks and feels believable. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar versus Finn Balor because the size difference and the contrast of characters and the contrast of wrestlers is just too spread out. And I don't want to see Brock, just for the hell of it, just for shits and giggles, go stiff on Balor and fucking try to end his career. Because if Balor can't even hang with a guy like Seth Rollins without getting hurt, I don't even want to think about what could possibly happen to him if Lesnar decides somewhere during the match, just for shits and giggles, to try and fucking hurt him. Because I wouldn't put it past Lesnar to try that. Because he knows Vince McMahon's going to let him get away with it. But the fact is, a match between Joe and Lesnar has so much more there. And you have 5 weeks to build on this. So you need to try your damnedest to make us feel this. This is something that a lot of fans legitimately wanted, and you're giving it to us, and we're happy about it. One of the few times the WWE actually gives us what we want, and we don't look for an excuse to bitch and gripe about it. It's like when Roman Reigns won the 2015 Royal Rumble. When he won that Royal Rumble, people bitched and complained, even though the WWE heard us saying we wanted new young stars to win the Royal Rumble. We were tired of seeing the same old people winning the same old shit. And the WWE actually threw us a bone and gave us something we wanted, a new young star that's never won this before. We listened to you, we gave you a new star, but you didn't like it because he wasn't Daniel Bryan. And now I'm honestly, after just saying that, I'm actually worried that people are going to bitch about this because that is not Finn Balor. That is Samoa Joe. I am much more invested in a Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar match than I ever would be a Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar match. Because Finn Balor is so skinny, I think Brock Lesnar could literally break a motherfucker over his knee. But this worked. This absolutely worked. The rest of this show blew chunks. Without question, this show was terrible, in my opinion. And I see Wrestling Regret give it a, Brian Zane, he gave it a B-. Jesus Christ, you're being fucking nice to this show. This was bad. This was like a D-level show for me. The only thing that saves it from being as bad as anything TNA ever does, this main event finish just worked so well for me. And as soon as Joe got the win, I was actually laying down on the bed watching this, and when Joe got the win, I sprung up and I went, whoa! Because it hooked me. It instantly made me believe that we're finally going to get something that could be potentially awesome. And I know I've harped on this way too long. So there's my little review of Extreme Rules 2017. Send your hate. Because Finn Balor didn't win. Send your hate. Because I bitched about Bayley getting buried. Send your hate because I shit on a Hardy Boys match. What do you want from me? This is my honest opinion. This show sucked, and you all fucking know it because I fucking know it. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.